Driving in the desert. First, the learning objective of this module is to identify the necessary steps that should be taken to ensure a safe driving on desert roads. Second, driving in the desert is dangerous. Should any small matter occur, it could be a matter of life and death. Therefore, you must know and follow all safety steps as well as test your vehicle and safety equipment periodically. It is also necessary to prepare a contingency plan before driving. The driver of the vehicle must be experienced in driving in such areas. Be aware of the dangers, take necessary precautions, and it is best to take a special desert driving course before driving a special vehicle. Third, always use the four-wheel drive system when driving in the desert, and do not drive the vehicle alone. It is important to be part of a group made up of 2 cars or more. In the event your car malfunctions, others will be able to help you get out of the desert safely, especially if you are part of a desert driving training group. Fourth, an important step before embarking on a desert journey is to test the vehicle. Check there is enough fuel for the journey. Check the integrity and condition of all tires in addition to the spare. Check the oil level and make sure there is no leakage. Check the water cooling level. Make sure that the cooler cover is closed tightly and also check there is no leakage. Check the battery, lights, wiring, and horn and ensure their smooth operation after switching them on. Check that there is no damage or break in any part of the vehicle. Fifth, when planning a journey into the desert, use a checklist to make sure you have all the main and necessary things for all situations, such as the vehicle breaking down for a long period of time. A primary list that can be added to is available in the defensive driving manuals. The amount of supplies needed throughout the journey and other important items include 1. Map or navigation system. 2. Phone, preferably a satellite phone. 3. Equipment to check tire pressure. 4. Equipment to fill and empty air. 5. Fuel sufficient for the journey and reserve fuel in a suitable container if needed. 6. Equipment to help you get out of sand. 7. Spare tire and certain spare parts such as a functioning engine. 8. The most important thing of all is to have enough drinking water. 6th, you cannot carry a very large amount of water with you in the desert. However, there is an appropriate standard, and that is to carry 4 liters of water for every person per day, in addition to an additional quantity for personal use or filling the water cooling device. You should have additional quantities of water in emergency situations by having enough to suffice at least 3 days for every person. 25 liters of water is enough for 1 person to use in 1 day. Example, you must have 100 liters of water for 4 people for 1 day. 7th, fuel. 4-wheel drive cars consume 65% more fuel than other vehicles. Check that you have enough fuel to reach your destination and return. It is best to have an additional amount of fuel to use if necessary. Vehicles that have an additional fuel tank are best for desert journeys. Carry with you an additional amount of fuel in a metal can that does not leak vapors. Be careful not to fill it completely. Rather, leave sufficient space for expansion and check that the lid is sealed tightly. 8th, placing heavy supplies on the roof of the vehicle increases the probability of the car turning over. Instead, place heavy items inside the vehicle and relatively light items on the roof. Be sure to know where important items are placed. 9th, before embarking on a desert journey, hold a meeting and plan everything that you will need. You must know what to do. Make a rescue plan in the event your car breaks down or if you get stuck in sand. Check that you have all necessary equipment before embarking on the journey. Plan your journey on a map or navigation system, and check your destination more than once. Make sure you have reserve batteries for the navigation system. Check by drawing your path on a map, and record the time expected to reach your destination. You must inform a friend or colleague of your plan, and everyone must know where you are going, how long you will stay there, and when you expect to return. Inform them that they should declare an emergency if you do not contact them at the time and date specified. Upon your return, you must inform all of your safe arrival. 10th. Before leaving the road to drive in the desert, you must define your location. Pay attention to landmarks such as mountains or pipelines and mark them on the navigation system or map when you pass them. Also pay attention to the sun and direction of the wind. The wind usually blows from the north in the desert. Always check the weather before beginning your journey, and do not travel in a storm or rain. Never go out in your car at night, as it is more likely that you will get lost or have an accident. 11th. When you leave the paved road onto soft sand, you must reduce the pressure of the tires and return them to their original state when rejoining a paved road. The appropriate pressure for soft sand is 20 lbs per square inch, or less if the conditions require. Reducing the tire pressure increases the area in contact with the road and gives greater grip on soft sand. Do not forget to choose a four-wheel drive system and never stop except on solid areas or when you encounter a slope. 12th. It is very dangerous for a vehicle to get stuck in hot desert sand. Excessive attempts to get the vehicle out of hot sand may cause an increased temperature in the engine or cause the malfunction of mechanical parts. When a vehicle becomes stuck in sand, first make sure that it is four-wheel drive mode, then gently move the vehicle back and forth without making the tires spin. If this happens, you will be stuck even deeper in the sand. 13th. If the vehicle remains stuck in the sand, get out of the vehicle and examine the situation. Check the transmission is in the stop position and the handbrake is in use. Make the passengers to get out of the car and ask them to help. Make sure the pressure of all tires is low. Reduce tire pressure and dig a trench or path in front of each tire, making completely sure not to dig a hole. Try to take the sand away from the bottom of the vehicle. You can remove all items and supplies from the vehicle if necessary, and place them away from the front or rear of the car. You can also ask help from passengers with you to push the vehicle. However, you must inform them of your intention to move the vehicle back and forth before starting. If you are unable to get the vehicle out after this, take a rope and ask another vehicle to pull your car. Make sure to put sandboards beneath the vehicle to help you, and do not allow the other vehicle to become stuck in the sand as well. When you are out of the sand, do not stop except on solid ground. 14th. When driving on sand, look for solid areas to drive on. The best sign of this is the tracks of other vehicles in the sand, such as in the picture. The newer the tracks, the less likely it is that the vehicle will become stuck in the sand. There are also other tracks in the sand that can identify solid areas, such as this plant called the andab. This plant grows in solid sand and is a good indication that can guide you. 15th. The sand and wheel tracks in this picture give an indication that the sand is soft. Pay attention to the presence of this plant, known as the thaman, which grows only in loose sand. Its presence is therefore an indication that the sand is soft, and you must be careful not to drive on it. 16th. If your vehicle breaks down or you become lost in the desert, stay inside the vehicle and do not leave to search for road on foot, as a vehicle is easier to spot from the air compared to a person. Staying with your vehicle speeds up any process to save you. The vehicle will also provide suitable shade, as the most important rescue point is to remain out of direct sunlight as much as possible. 17th. It is best to remain in mobile phone and wireless coverage as much as possible. A mobile phone may work several kilometers from the nearest transmission station, and there are certain wireless phones that may work on a larger scale. Therefore, make sure there is enough charge on the device's battery before embarking on any trip, as well as ensure you have a list of emergency numbers to contact. 18th. If you need to use a way to attract the attention of other vehicles, people, or aeroplanes, carefully light a fire and add some oil to form smoke. Erecting a large tent in a unique color may also help distinguish your location. Additionally, you can also write SOS in the sand, or by using stones, as well as using a mirror to reflect the sun's rays. 19th. Summary. Driving in the desert regions is very dangerous if you do not have sufficient experience or not prepared in how to behave or drive in this environment. You must test all parts of the vehicle carefully, as well as equipment. Have a contingency plan in place before you go to the desert. You must always inform certain people of your intention to go to the desert, as well as the exact place and time you expect to return. Ask them to contact the emergency services, if you do not contact them, to inform them of your return at a specified time. Always use vehicles with four-wheel drive and do not drive in the desert without being accompanied by another vehicle. You must take with you necessary supplies of water and fuel, in addition to the appropriate communication equipment and navigation devices. Place heavy items inside the vehicle and leave lighter things on the roof. Lower the tire pressure and know the best way to drive in the sand as well as the ways to identify solid ground. In the event your vehicle breaks down or you become lost, use all possible communication methods and identify your location.